In this study, I'll share our research findings on self-perceived voice problems in a non-treatment seeking geriatric population in Hong Kong. This study was supported by the Strategic Research Partnership on Translational Research in Voice and Speech Sciences between Siksik Yuen and Faculty of Education at the University of Hong Kong. We're very grateful to Siksik Yuen for the support in subject recruitment for the study. Population aging has become a major global concern. According to the United Nations, the number of older adults aged 65 years or above is expected to be doubled by year 2050. In Hong Kong, the percentage of population of aged 65 or above is projected to reach 32% by 2046. Such rapid growing aging population urge a better understanding of the health conditions in the geriatric population, such as voice. In the voice area, age-related laryngeal structure and also phonatory physiological deteriorations can affect voice quality, leading to adverse impact on the elderly's quality of life. The literature has reported studies that look into the prevalence of voice problems in the non-treatment seeking population. As shown in this table, the prevalence of self-reported voice problems ranged from 20 to 30% for the older individuals who are living independently. The prevalence is relatively higher for those who are living in nursing homes. In general, voice problems in the elderly population can significantly reduce their quality of life, as indicated by the Voice-Related Quality of Life questionnaire. The studies mentioned on the previous slides were conducted in the Western countries. Currently, there's only limited relevant data available that are related to the Hong Kong elderly population. A previous study by Yu and his colleagues found that self-perception of health-related quality of life can be influenced by social and cultural background. Therefore, epidemiological studies in different populations are essential for context-specific healthcare and also voice prevention planning. Therefore, the objective of the present study was to evaluate the prevalence of perceived voice disorders and voice-related quality of life in a non-treatment seeking older population in Hong Kong. We also compared the prevalence and voice-related quality of life between the young old, old, and oldest old subgroups. We hope that by knowing the patterns across subgroups in terms of the prevalence of voice problems and the quality of life can allow us to provide more timely preventive education and also voice-related services. 107 older individuals were recruited from 2 senior citizen community centers in Hong Kong. To be included in the study, the participants need to be aged 65 years or above. They need to speak Cantonese for over 80% of the time and have healthy hearing with no observable signs of hearing difficulties. All of them did the MMSE in order to assess the cognitive functions. And participants need to score at least 24 or above in the MMSE to show that they have preserved cognitive functions. 6 participants were excluded based on these criteria, and the remaining 101 participants were grouped into 3 subgroups according to the age: the young old, old, and the oldest old. Data collection was done by face-to-face interviews. We took brief case history with each participant, and we asked them to judge whether they consider themselves as having a voice problem. In this study, the definition of voice problems was adopted from Roy et al. 2007, which is anytime the voice does not work, perform, or sound as it normally should, so that it interferes with communication. We also asked the participant to complete the Voice Handicap Index. Here comes the major findings. We find that over 1/4 of the participants reported having a current voice problem. For those who reported having a voice problem, 64 of them rated their voice problems as mild, and the remaining 36% of them rated the voice problem as moderate. None of them reported the voice problem as severe. The results suggest that voice disorders are common among the elderly, and the results are comparable to those reported in the literature. This may be due to the similar group of participants, that is, living independently and also non-clinical elderly population. We also used the same definition as suggested in Roy et al. 2007. We also find that perceived voice problems can lead to significant negative impacts on the older individual's voice-related quality of life, as indicated by the significantly higher VHI scores in the dysphonic group than the non-dysphonic elderly. Now, I have to point out that the VHI scores obtained from the dysphonic elderly was actually not particularly high. Take the total VHI score an example. Out of the possible maximum of 120, the mean total VHI score obtained from the dysphonic group was actually 18, suggesting the impact was actually mostly mild. When comparing the prevalence of perceived voice problems in different age groups, we found a slight trend for lower prevalence of perceived dysphonia with increasing age. However, the differences were not statistically significant. In terms of voice-related quality of life, there was no significant difference in the mean subscale score and the mean total VHI score between the 3 sub-age groups. The results suggest that the impacts of perceived dysphonia on the older individual are actually similar, irrespective of one's age. This study has 2 limitations that should be acknowledged. First, the number of participants in each age group was not equal. So a larger and also more representative sample size is definitely needed. Second, data collection was based on self-reports. So the response may possibly be affected by recall and also response bias. Clinicians' auditory perceptual evaluation and also instrumental voice measures should be included in future studies to complement self-report data, as found from this study. In conclusion, the present study suggests that perceived dysphonia is common among non-treatment seeking elderly population in Hong Kong. Voice problems can also adversely impact on the elderly's daily life functioning. We also found similar prevalence and voice-related quality of life across age groups in the geriatric population. Therefore, voice problems in the aging population should not be underestimated. Looking ahead, we suggest that more resources to be allocated to provide preventive voice education, voice assessment, and voice treatment for the older population. Voice-related services should implement, preferably from young old, in order to promote positive and healthy aging. And that's the end for my presentation. Thank you.